As of October 1st, 2025, a brand new fiscal year has started in the realm of the Walt Disney Company, as major brand new projects are officially underway at three of the four theme parks at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. We're going to be taking a look at just one of those projects today. Over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, a brand new land themed to Disney and Pixar's Monsters, Inc. is officially underway, and work is moving fast. With that being said, let's take a look at all of the major construction happening in this corner of the park in today's It's a Small Vlog Fall 2025 News Update.
Hey everybody, Bobby here, and as indicated by the thumbnail and the intro of today's video, I am here at Disney's Hollywood Studios to take a look at all of the brand new construction progress happening over at Grand Avenue, aka Muppets Courtyard, as that area begins its historic transformation into a new land themed to Disney and Pixar's Monsters Incorporated.
Back in June of this year, Disney officially closed down all of Grand Avenue at Disney's Hollywood Studios to make way for a brand new land themed to Disney and Pixar's Monsters, Inc. For context, Disney officially announced this new expansion coming to the park back in August of 2024, only to then officially confirm later that year in November that the expansion would be at the expense of the Muppets. You may recall that Grand Avenue used to be the official home of all things Muppets, including locations like the quick service pizza place Pizza Rizzo, Mama Melrose's Italian restaurant, and of course the crown jewel of this corner of the park, Muppet Vision 3D. Grand Avenue as a whole used to be a smaller part of the former Streets of America that used to call this section of the park home, but closed back in 2016 to make way for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which opened in 2019. Since that point, attendance inside Grand Avenue began to slow as guests were drawn to the more heavily themed IP areas of the park, including places like Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge. And after having essentially no new additions since early 2020, Disney finally decided to shift their attention back over to Disney's Hollywood Studios and begin to invest in something big. After following a phased closure back in May of 2025, Grand Avenue had its final day of operation on Saturday, June 7th, before closing permanently the next day on Sunday, June 8th. Since that time, we've seen some major progress take place as the project officially gets underway.
Alright everybody, I made it over here to what is left of Grand Avenue, and right behind me you can see the Monsters, Inc. themed construction walls, as well as the former Muppets Courtyard area. There's a lot of different things that are happening all around the area right now. Currently there's just this one set of construction walls that you can see that is blocking off the former Muppets Courtyard. I want to take a look at what's going on behind the construction walls, but before we do that, we have to take a look at how exactly we got to this point in the first place.
If we compare the old concept art with the new, at surface level it doesn't seem like much has changed, but if you look closely there's actually quite a few significant changes worth pointing out. I won't delve into every minute detail, but starting in the lower right hand corner of the image, we can see that Disney has removed some of the planned theming for the entrance of the new land, simplifying it ever so slightly. More specifically, the iron arch welcoming guests into the land has been removed, leaving just the pillars instead. You'll notice that the pavement itself has also been changed to reflect a monster-like scale pattern. Moving up, one of the more noticeable changes is where the Miss Piggy fountain used to be situated. In the original concept art, the fountain was represented as being much more small scale, themed to a large eyeball, but now the fountain appears to look more grand, and a proper replacement of the original. Additionally, the adjacent theater to the right of the fountain has also seen some exterior changes, the most notable of which is its renaming from the Monstro to the Globe. The name change is likely a play on words of William Shakespeare's The Globe Theatre in London. Other notable changes surrounding the theater include the removal of Mike Wazowski's red car from out front and the removal of the outermost silver steel canopy used for the extended queue line. Turning our attention to the left-hand side of the concept art, we can see that the exterior of the bathroom building, aka the location of Gonzo's Royal Flush, has been stripped of its theming in favor of retaining the waterworks pipes currently present. Moving up past what is currently Pizza Rizzo, and some billboards have been removed from atop the buildings, notably one that referenced the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom. The buildings in this corner of the land also appear to don a new orange and purple color scheme, with a clothesline added to the connecting brick buildings for some additional theming. Meanwhile, the Central Park area in the center of the land alongside Harryhausen's appears to be largely unchanged. Finally, checking out the door vault roller coaster anchored in the back of the land, we can see that the attraction building sits back a bit further than in the original version of the concept art. This is due to the addition of a bigger and more proper courtyard area, featuring the attraction's entry signage and a small playground to the left. The right side of the courtyard appears to be themed to a small parking lot, complete with some Fox vehicles. Considering the placement and layout of the entire attraction entrance, this area to the right will most likely be utilized for stroller parking. Our first signs of construction progress took place in late June, about 3 weeks after Grand Avenue permanently closed. It was at this point where we saw the removal of the Miss Piggy fountain from the center of the courtyard, as well as majority of the surrounding landscaping. Fast forward a few weeks later to mid-July, and bricks that previously made up the former plaza area were carefully removed. It's rumored that the careful removal of the bricks may indicate them getting repurposed at some point in the future following proper demolition, as shortly after, the main plaza began to get ripped up of its hardscaping. Demolition isn't just restricted to the main courtyard though, as the neighboring Stage 1 Company store was demolished in 24 hours flat back in early August. Thanks to these impressive aerial shots from BioReconstruct, it's almost alarming at just how quickly the store went from being a pristine-looking building to a massacred pile of rubble. This area will be the future home of an open park-like area, as indicated by the concept art. The removal of the Stage 1 Company store marks a significant early milestone in the land's construction progress, as majority of the demolition is now complete. This is further conveyed in these aerial photos from mid-August that show a completely leveled and empty Muppets Courtyard, as everything up to the surrounding buildings has been turned to dirt. One final detail to note is that in early September, the Muppet Vision 3D marquee sign got covered with black scrimmage, with the marquee eventually being taken down in late October. Hopefully that caught you up to speed on everything taking place inside the former Muppets Courtyard, but now let's switch gears over to arguably the most exciting part of this new land. Shifting our focus to the true expansion of this new land is the Monsters Inc. Door Vault roller coaster. The attraction itself will be situated in the very back of the land as it is built straight from the ground up, utilizing what is currently backstage parking lot space for cast members. And considering the amount of progress we just got done discussing about the transformation of the courtyard itself, we've seen just as much progress take place outside the current footprint of the park as well. As far as what we've seen visually happening so far, work officially began concurrently alongside the construction work happening inside Muppets Courtyard back in June. Immediately after the area's closure, Disney set aside a whopping 9 acres of land for the upcoming coaster, cutting into a significant portion of the current cast member parking lot. Here's a slew of early aerial photographs taken by the very helpful BioReconstruct, documenting the state of early land clearing for the coaster. It wasn't until about mid-July where we began to see our first signs of excavation happen inside the parking lot itself, with majority of the heavy land clearing taking place into the month of August. Finally, in early September, we saw the addition of a massive multifunction drilling rig arrive at the coaster construction site, likely used to help with the ongoing infrastructure work going on now that all the land is cleared. This now brings us to the present day. Currently, early work is taking place on the southwest side of the site. The work appears to be outside of the assumed footprint of the building, but it's certainly within the confines of the construction site for the new coaster. It's possible that this early work could be to support drainage or other infrastructure work around the building ahead of it going vertical, but we can't say for certain just yet. We'll likely see this type of early infrastructure work continue over the next few weeks as Disney preps the site for further development. As you'd imagine, the plot is slightly bigger than the planned roller coaster building, with just over 9 acres of the parking lot being blocked off for construction. In fact, the initial work currently underway should give us a good idea of what will be left of the cast member parking lot once work is complete. But you may be wondering, just how big is this new coaster planned to be? Well, thanks to a new permit that was filed a few months back by Walt Disney Imagineering and the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, we have a ton of new data to work with. According to the calculations presented in the permit, the entire building will measure to be roughly 103,000 square feet. making it not only the largest attraction building at Disney's Hollywood Studios, but one of the largest in all of Walt Disney World. To give you a size comparison, the attraction building is estimated to be about 11% larger than the neighboring building for Rise of the Resistance in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which clocks in at roughly 92,000 square feet. In fact, the building for this coaster is only dwarfed by Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind over at Epcot. All in all, the footprint for this attraction is slated to be absolutely massive, and will be the second largest building for any attraction at Walt Disney World. As far as what we're bound to experience inside the attraction itself, details have been somewhat scarce, but there are still a few things we know. Aside from this singular piece of concept art and some vague story details, back in March, Disney showcased an early first look at what the load bay will soon look like for the attraction. This was revealed in a short 3D rendered video that displays the complex mechanics that will be present inside the attraction. Not only will it be Disney's first ever suspended roller coaster, but it will also be Disney's first ever vertical lift coaster, truly mimicking the mechanics you see in the film. It also looks like the loading bay will be a first of its kind triple docking bay, as opposed to the typical singular or double-sided bays we're used to seeing, further increasing overall ride capacity and efficiency. As you can see, the work happening on not just the Door Factory roller coaster, but the entire land as a whole is all extremely exciting, and Disney has been working at a very impressive rate so far. The work that we've seen take place over the summer and going into the fall season has represented an acceleration in the rate of progress we're normally accustomed to seeing Disney operate at, which is great to see. Considering that construction on the land itself was seemingly delayed for about 2.5 months, I have some good faith that this is likely the rate of progress that will hopefully continue on until the project is completed. Before I wrap up this video, there's one other thing I want to mention. About a month ago, over at One Man's Dream behind the Chinese Theater, a brand new Imagineering exhibit recently debuted that outlines some of the upcoming projects slated throughout Walt Disney World. Projects include the Tropical Americas at Disney's Animal Kingdom, Piston Peak National Park coming to Frontierland at the Magic Kingdom, and of course, Monsters, Inc. at Disney's Hollywood Studios. What's interesting about the exhibit in general is how it refers to the Monsters, Inc. expansion specifically, referring to it as Monstropolis. This is likely not by accident, as the same day that the exhibit debuted, Walt Disney Parks and Resorts filed a trademark application for the name Monstropolis, citing a wide variety of uses, including amusement park and theme park services, and entertainment services in the nature of an amusement park show, just to name a few. Now, as it turns out, this information officially confirms that the name of the new land will in fact be called Monstropolis, which almost seemed like a no-brainer right from the start. And as far as when we can expect all of Monstropolis to open to the public, I believe that a 2028 opening timeframe seems the most likely. The farthest out opening timeframe that we have confirmed for any project at Walt Disney World is currently for the Tropical Americas over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, which is scheduled to open sometime in 2027. The other two big expansion projects are currently underway at the Magic Kingdom, but are much earlier on in their construction progress as compared to Monsters, Inc. Keeping all of this in mind, a 2028 opening timeframe for Monstropolis seems extremely doable, but only time will tell. I'd love to hear more about when you think this new land is scheduled to open in the comments below.
Hey everybody, if you stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much. But that officially is going to wrap up this video. I apologize that I've been absent recently. Life has been crazy. I've had to put the channel on the back burner for a while now, but I've been wanting to do a ton of construction updates for some time now, and I haven't covered the Monsters, Inc. construction in a while, so I figured that this was a great place to start. And just FYI, there is going to be a ton more in-depth construction updates just like this moving forward now through the end of the year, so make sure you are subscribed with those notifications turned on, because now until the end of the year is going to be nothing short in content. And also, if you guys are wondering why this video seemed to be a little bit different from my previous construction videos in both editing style and just kind of the way that I usually do things, there was a lot more of me just doing a voiceover as to actually me on camera. I've been thinking of doing something different for a while now. It was just kind of something new. that I wanted to implement in today's video, so I hope that it turned out all right. And again, if you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe and turn those notifications on. Check me out on Instagram as well for even more breaking news updates. The link is down below. And again, moving forward, I want to start covering more project specific stuff as opposed to cramming everything that's park specific into just one video. For example, there are a multitude of other things that are happening here at Hollywood Studios, but I specifically just wanted to focus on the Monsters Inc. construction, so that way I didn't feel rushed. I could provide a super in-depth analysis of everything going on for you guys. So that is why I will be back here again very, very soon to discuss even other things that are happening at the parks, some of which I haven't even begun covering just yet. So I'm really looking forward to doing so. But once again, my name is Bobby. This has been It's a Small Vlog for your fall 2025 update regarding the Monsters Inc. land construction here at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And with all that out of the way, have a magical day, everybody. Bye.